Hey everyone, welcome. Today we are going to talk about a really fundamental shift that's happening in business, how companies are moving away from these old rigid structures and toward a model that's way more flexible and, honestly, built for the future. I mean, just think about that for a second. It's a huge question, right? Everything around us is in constant motion, constant disruption, but the way we've built our businesses, it's like they're set in stone. This is the core problem we're going to tear down today. All right, so let's kick things off by digging into the crisis that's kind of hiding in plain sight. This is all about the real-world bottom-line cost of not being able to adapt. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. That old model of making a 5-year plan and just sticking to it no matter what, it's totally broken. By the time those massive projects are finally done, the market has already zoomed past you. Stability is an illusion now. The new name of the game is perpetual motion. I absolutely love this phrase. It perfectly personifies the main villain of our story today, monolithic architecture. You know what I'm talking about. It's that massive, single, tightly wound system that so many big companies are built on. Sure, it seems simple at first, but over time, man, it becomes a massive anchor weighing you down. And believe me, the costs are real, and they add up to some serious headaches. With a monolith, even a tiny change is slow and super risky. Let's say you need to scale up your checkout for a big holiday sale. Well, you have to scale the entire application, wasting a ton of money. And trying to innovate with new tech, forget about it. You're completely trapped. It just becomes this vicious cycle of more complexity and more debt. And when you put them side by side like this, the difference is just night and day, isn't it? The monolithic way is rigid, it's slow. The composable way is flexible and fast. Just think about fault tolerance for a second. In a monolith, one tiny bug in one small feature can bring down the entire system. But with a composable approach, issues are contained, they're isolated. It's a huge shift from having a single point of failure to having a resilient, adaptable ecosystem. So, if the monolith is the problem, what's the solution? This brings us to a whole new way of thinking, a completely new blueprint for how we build both our technology and our business. And here it is. The composable enterprise. Honestly, the Lego blocks analogy is just perfect. Instead of one giant concrete structure you can't change, you have a box full of independent, interchangeable building blocks that you can snap together and reconfigure super fast to build whatever you need. It's a move away from big, painful changes to just continuous evolution. And make no mistake, this is not some niche, nerdy idea. We're talking about a C-suite, boardroom-level priority. When Gartner reports that 60% of mainstream companies are making this a strategic goal, you know a massive shift is underway. The urgency is real because the market is absolutely demanding it. Okay, so we've got the what and the why. Now it's time for the really cool part, the how. Let's pop the hood and look at the actual engine that powers this new agile blueprint. And that engine is often called MACH. Let's quickly break it down. Microservices are basically your Lego blocks, small, independent services that do one thing well, like handling payments or checking inventory. APIs are the universal glue that lets all those blocks talk to each other. Cloud Native gives you the scalable, resilient playground to build on. And Headless, that just means you separate the customer-facing part from all the back-end machinery, so you can create new experiences on any device without having to rebuild everything from scratch. So here's the magic trick. How do we make all this tech stuff easy for the actual business people to use? That's where something called Packaged Business Capabilities, or PBCs, come in. Think of a PBC as a pre-built kit of Lego blocks that makes up a whole business function, like a shopping cart. This is huge because it lets business teams think about building solutions by snapping together capabilities, not by writing code. It finally bridges that frustrating gap between IT and the rest of the company. All right. This all sounds great in theory, but where's the proof? Does it actually deliver results? Let's talk about the bottom line. This is where we see how all this architectural stuff translates into cold, hard, measurable business value. Just let this number sink in for a second. 80%. Organizations that embrace a composable approach are projected to smoke their competition by 80% when it comes to the speed of rolling out new features. In today's market, that kind of speed isn't just a nice-to-have, it's a survival skill. And if that didn't get your attention, how about this one for the finance department? A major Forrester study calculated the 3-year return on investment for making this switch at a jaw-dropping 271%. But honestly, this might be the most incredible part. The same study found that companies get their initial investment back in less than 6 months. That kind of rapid time to value completely flips the script on what a big transformation project is supposed to look like. So here it is, the full breakdown, and it's all in the language that gets the C-suite really excited. We're talking a net present value of almost $7.5 million. But look at that last line, over $7 million in profit just from better conversion rates, because you can deliver a better customer experience. The numbers really do tell an amazing story. Okay, the case is crystal clear. The numbers are there, but how do you actually do it? This kind of change can feel like a huge mountain to climb, I get it, but it doesn't have to be. Let's walk through a practical, actionable path to get there. Here's a pragmatic 4-step journey. First, you start with the business, not the technology. You map out your core capabilities. Then, and this is key, you start small. You don't do some crazy big bang replacement. That's a recipe for disaster. No, you pick a pilot project and use what's called the strangler pattern, where you basically, and slowly, replace little pieces of the old monolith with new services. You gradually chip away at it. And as you scale, you build strong governance, and you partner with experts to go faster. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Now, this is a really important piece of the puzzle. It's a classic idea in the tech world called Conway's Law. And it basically says that your software architecture will always end up looking like your company's org chart. A rigid, siloed company will always produce a rigid, monolithic system. It's not just about tech, it's about your culture. So what does that mean for us? Well, the conclusion is simple. If you want to build a system out of modular Lego blocks, you first have to build an organization out of modular Lego blocks. You got to break down those walls between business and IT and create these empowered cross-functional fusion teams that own a business capability from start to finish. The org redesign has to happen alongside the tech redesign. So we end right back where we started, but now with a totally new perspective. The world is not slowing down. The future belongs to the businesses that are built for change, not the ones built to stand still. So the only real question left to ask is, are you built for yesterday? Or are you composing your blueprint for tomorrow?